My friends, today is a historic day because for the first time ever, you can take NVIDIA GPU compute power and use it on a console. Actually, there are other consoles that use NVIDIA, but that's not the point. Your Xbox can now use RTX 3080 technology because GeForce Now finally allows you to work on Microsoft Edge, which will allow you to get all of the power that comes from the cloud-based solution from NVIDIA and play it on your Xbox. Now, while it might seem weird for you to try to play cloud games on a piece of hardware that already is perfectly capable at 10 plus teraflops at $500. Why would you want to play on GeForce Now at that point? Well, number one is so you can play PC exclusive games like CSGO and Dota 2 on your Xbox. That's highly important. But then number two, while I might be showing this off on an Xbox Series X, this likely makes a lot more sense for something like a Series S or an Xbox One S if you can get the Edge browser update where it actually can perform pretty decently. However, I'm not using my Xbox Series S because it's still in a state after I tried to put its SSD on a PS5 and I still haven't been able to recover that SSD, which you can watch that video right up there. But today is showing you how you can get NVIDIA GeForce graphics on your Xbox, and just know that this does also apply to the Series S. As far as I'm aware, I don't have any of the previous Xbox generations to test this out with. This should also work on your Xbox One, One X, and One S because as far as Microsoft has made it clear, Edge works on all of those consoles, and so this application of using GeForce Now can apply to those as well, which is honestly the benefit that comes from cloud gaming, is that you don't necessarily need to upgrade your hardware in order to experience all of the benefits of the latest graphical technology. This is one of the things that Microsoft is absolutely doing right when it comes to their xCloud stuff. It's running on Xbox Series X hardware, but you can play it on something as low as an Xbox One S. So you have older technology being able to run games at the highest fidelity. So getting this to work is honestly as simple as going to play.geforce.now. Do not go to GeForce Now because then it brings you to this website, which doesn't allow you to play anything. You have to go to the specific play.geforce.now. Especially if you search GeForce Now, it brings you to this webpage, which is just actually not going to get you to the play field. You have to, like, if you click play now, it's like, oh, hey, you have to log in. And then when you go, okay, I'm gonna log into my account, it brings you here where it's just like, oh, you already have a membership. And then there's no way to get to the play field. So you have to specifically type in play.geforce.now. But once you're there, you actually have access to all of the games that you otherwise would on a GeForce Now subscription, with a pretty big caveat, which is you cannot play the one Sony game that's available on GeForce Now, which is Death Stranding, because it's just not available. So in my library, I actually do indeed have Death Stranding, but when you go to search for it, you'll see that it's nowhere to be found. There is no Death Stranding here. Whereas when you go to the browser version on my Windows laptop, there it is. It's the playable game that's right there at once I type it in. So very clear that even though GeForce Now technically works on Xbox, PlayStation games over GeForce Now do not work. I don't know if this is just a function of the beta because it's still currently in beta according to Microsoft. Actually, you know what? I'm testing this on Chrome. Let me go ahead and go over to my Edge browser on my Windows laptop and see if it's any different there. Okay, now that I'm on Edge, Death Stranding's right there. It's just a function of it being on the Xbox console, so it feels like that's kind of intentional by NVIDIA's part. That might be part of the licensing agreement that they have with Sony to put Death Stranding on GeForce Now, is that it can't be on Xbox consoles, which is actually kind of interesting because Horizon Zero Dawn, which is another Sony title, is published by PlayStation Mobile on Steam, and God of War is also going to be published by PlayStation Mobile, whereas Death Stranding is published by 505 Games, so not directly by Sony, but still not being registered on GeForce Now on the Edge browser on Xbox, which is, I get it. I get the console wars still have to exist. Feels a little heavy-handed. So one of the big benefits of having GeForce Now is the ability to play PC exclusive games on the Xbox, which there are not that many, especially games that are very popular, but Counter-Strike Global Offensive is definitely one of them, CSGO, Dota 2, so let's go ahead and just see how this performs on the Xbox Series X over cloud, because it's an FPS game. I suck at these games automatically, so we'll see how this does. Rig is ready. Continue to game in full screen. Let's do it. That seems to be a problem. So it wants me to log into my Steam account. I can't access the keyboard to type in my password for my Steam account. What in the, do I have to get like a real keyboard? This is an intriguing problem, especially considering the fact that I've already inputted my password and everything to connect my Steam account to GeForce Now in order to be able to even do anything. Yeah, so once I start typing with a regular keyboard, everything's totally fine. Now it's gonna ask me for my authentication key. Strange, okay. So you might have to have a real keyboard in order to be able to do this on your Xbox. That is unexpected. Do I have to get a mouse too as well to like actually play this game? Because I can see my cursor's in the top left-hand corner, but it's not moving now. And like it's a full-on, it's stuck. Do I have to, I'm gonna go get a mouse. Yeah, I can't do anything. I can see it's running at 100 frames per second, which is great. Audio's coming through fine, but my controller is non-responsive. Okay, well now it's working with my mouse. That's weird. Okay, but my controller doesn't work at all. So I have to use a keyboard and mouse in order to do anything on the application, which kind of makes sense, but you can see it has this weird like double cursor effect going on where there's the cursor from the Xbox working and then there's also the cursor in the game that's also working. Go ahead and just play a quick match. Okay, while it's loading, the Xbox cursor still works. My controller is not working in the slightest. If I press the Xbox, yeah, so my controller's functional. It just doesn't work in the browser while I'm using GeForce Now, which this might be because it's a keyboard and mouse game. I'll have to dive into that in a little bit, play a different game after this to see. All right, there we go. All right, this is weird with the dual cursor situation. This is kind of a pain in the butt.
Hello, Editing Brett here. I realized that after I filmed this entire video that all of the gameplay was recorded in 720p, which is why it looks like anus, and it's not because GeForce Now actually looked pretty bad. I screwed up, and Editing Brett is now here paying sacrifices and amends to make this correct forever. Please forgive me.
To work on. Oh, the lag. Okay, let's count. 1, 2. Oh yeah, it's like a half sec. It's like 0.75 seconds on this latency right here. This is not good. You can see in the top left-hand corner, it's running at like 120 frames per second. But oh man, I mean, if you wanted to just play CSGO with buddies on the internet, this would work, but oh man, the latency is pretty rough here. I am on Wi-Fi, by the way. I'm not connected to Ethernet on my Xbox. I wonder if connecting it via Ethernet would potentially alleviate some of this latency that I'm experiencing. Okay, press W once. Yeah, that's super noticeable. But I'm playing CSGO on my Xbox, which means I don't need a PC. It means that I can get by with just one device. You could get an Xbox One S and be able to play every game at 120 frames per second, mind you. This is only streaming at 60 frames per second. The Edge browser on the Series X does not support anything above, I believe, 1080p 60 at this point. But it's honestly, I'm playing CSGO on an Xbox. This is the future, my friends. 2021's wild. All right, I'm gonna wire this up because this latency is killing me. Okay, that is noticeably better. Okay, that's like a quarter of a second, but that's totally doable. I can make it happen at the quarter of a second. I cannot make anything happen with half a second to a second delay. Although you can clearly see I suck at this game in the first place. Hello, bot. Don't shoot me, thank you. So if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do GeForce Now on your Xbox, I would highly recommend you wire up your console because it is rough without that. Let's go over to a controller game, see what we can get going instead of doing mouse and keyboard. Because I'm just curious at this point if controllers even work. They should. Okay, let's do a quick game of The Witcher and see if the controller works on this. It should. I have no problems using a controller playing The Witcher on my Steam account. All right, continue. Please don't lock me out of the controller. My controller is literally useless at this point. It can't do anything. Obviously, I can still access the Xbox menu, but I can't do anything within the GeForce Now client. It's not working. No button I'm pressing does a single thing. Going on the either analog stick does nothing. I have to actually use my mouse and keyboard. There we go. Now my controller works. Yeah, baby. But I still had to use my mouse and keyboard to get there. That's a pain in the butt. So I had to use my mouse and keyboard to type in my password after I already had my Steam account connected. And then I also had to use my mouse and keyboard to get me into big picture mode. Bam. Okay, there we go. Options. Let's bump up these graphics, all right? Man, you want to play on Ultra? 1024 by 768, what is this? 1995? No, we're gonna go to 1080p, bam. Are you sure you wanna make these changes? Hell yeah, I do. Video, just make sure everything's turned on. NVIDIA Hairworks, running on a freaking Xbox. Oh, I love it. I mean, this is playing pretty decently. Let's just see how bad the latency is. Up. That's like a quarter of a second. That is totally serviceable for a single-player story-driven game. Honestly, this, besides the gamma being pretty bad and everything being super dark, which I'll have to figure out, but I've always had issues with The Witcher on that, I'm a fan of this. It's playing pretty gosh dang smooth. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm not seeing very many frame rate hiccups like I normally would see on my PC. So I'm heavily in favor of this. Don't die, Geralt. I'm level 1. These are level 4 drowners. Not having a good time here. Honestly, you couldn't get this resolution and fidelity on a lower end Xbox. Maybe the Series S could play like this, but definitely not on a 1S. This is looking pretty good. I mean, besides the mouse and keyboard hiccups of having to get that going on the GeForce Now client, I think this is a pretty big success and a pretty big win for all gamers out there. The more you have options to play video games at different settings and different opportunities, I'm completely down with this. I'm glad that NVIDIA is allowing this to be working on Edge. There's kind of some nonsense going on when it comes to the Sony titles, but this could breathe new life into you not having to upgrade to the next generation of consoles if you're on a previous generation and you just want to cloud stream stuff. Microsoft's already doing it with xCloud, NVIDIA's doing it with GeForce Now, Google is doing it with Stadia. Sorry, something got caught in my throat there. Well, the monetization model and paying monthly for being able to access this is a little curious, especially with the RTX 3080 membership that NVIDIA is rolling out. That's $200 a year that you probably shouldn't buy if you're going to use it on an Xbox, because that's 1440p 120, which this can't support. You're better off getting a Founders or Priority membership, whatever it's called at this point. This is actually, I'm heckin' impressed. Especially once I wired up my console, the latency became way better, being able to actually enjoy this. I'm a big fan. Let me know if you're going to be trying out GeForce Now or any other cloud gaming service down below in the comments. And in case you want to watch the video where I broke my Xbox One S, you can totally check it out right over there. With that being said, I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel. I'll see you back here for another video sometime soon, my friends. Cheers.